Daf Yomi, Tractate Zevachim, page 78a, top of the page with the words Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Ein dam mevatel dam. Rabbi Yehuda says, blood does not nullify blood. Therefore, the priest presents the blood of the mixture on the altar. Nisare b'dam psulin yishavech le'amo. B'dam atamsis yishavech le'amo. Rabbi Eliezer machshir im lo nimlach benasan kosher. If blood fit for presentation was mixed with the blood of unfit offerings, there is no remedy. Therefore, the entire mixture shall be poured into the drain running through the temple courtyard. Likewise, if blood fit for presentation was mixed with blood of exudate, which means that blood that exudes from the neck after the initial spurt following its slaughter concludes, which is unfit for presentation, the entire mixture shall be poured into the temple courtyard drain. Rabbi Eliezer deems this mixture fit for presentation. Even according to the first Tana, if the priest did not consult the authorities and place the blood on the altar, the offering is fit. That's the Mishnah. Finished off the Mishnah, and now the Gemara. Zog the Talmud, the Gemara, Amar Rabbi Chia bar Abba, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Lo yishoneh la shenaflu mayim l'tzech dam, ava nafal dam t'ech mahim l'shenishin batlu. The Mishnah teaches that in a case where water became mixed with the blood of an offering, if the mixture has the appearance of blood, it is fit, despite the fact that there is more water than blood. Concerning this, Rabbi Chia bar Abba says that Rabbi Yochanan says they taught this halacha only in a case where the water fell into the blood. But in a case where the blood fell into the water, the first drop of blood and then the next first drop of blood is nullified in the water, meaning each drop is nullified in turn. Consequently, the mixture is unfit for presentation, regardless of whether it has the appearance of blood. Amav Papa le'inyan kisoi einokein le'vishein dichle b'mitzvos. Rav Papa says, but with regard to the mitzvah of covering the blood of birds or undomesticated animals that are slaughtered, it is not so. In this case, even if the blood fell into water, the mitzvah of covering applies to it, provided that the mixture has the appearance of blood. The blood is not nullified by the water because there is no permanent rejection with regard to mitzvot, meaning its nullification was merely temporary. But once there is enough blood in the water, it reassumes its status of blood. Amresh Lakish apigul v'noiso v'atamesh belalon zeva zevachim patul iyavshar shelo yam bemin al chavero v'yivatleno. The Gemara continues to discuss various mixtures. Rish Lakish says, with regard to meat of pigul, meaning an offering that was sacrificed with the intent to consume it beyond its designated time, and meat of notar, an offering whose designated time for consumption has passed, and ritually impure sacrificial meat, each of which was an olive bulk, the minimum size, for which one is liable to be flogged for its consumption, that one mixed together and ate them as a mixture, he is exempt from being flogged. The reason is that it is impossible that while eating them, one type would not be greater than another type and nullify it, since it is unknown which prohibition will nullify the other. One cannot forewarn the offender as to which prohibition he is about to transgress, and in order to be liable to be flogged, one must receive a forewarning concerning a specific prohibition. Shema mina tlas, Shema mina isurim livatin zeh, Ushma mina noisen tam b'roiv lav de'raiso, Ushma mina asra sopek lo yishma asra. The Gemara comments conclude three halachot from this statement of Rish Lakish, conclude from it that prohibitions nullify one another in a majority, just as permitted items nullify a prohibited item, and conclude from it that the halakha that when a prohibited food imparts flavor to a permitted substance prohibits it even when the permitted substance is the majority does not apply by Torah law, by rabbinic law. The proof is that if this principle were applied by Torah law, then one should be flogged for its consumption, as the meats are of different types, and therefore one of them must have imparted flavor to the other. And finally, conclude from it that an uncertain forewarning, meaning one in which the witnesses cannot be sure which prohibition the transgressor is about to violate, is not considered a forewarning. Meisiv Rabbi, Meisiv Rabbi. Concerning the inference that the halacha that when a prohibited food imparts flavor to a permitted substance, it prohibits it even when the permitted substance is the majority, does not apply by Torah law. Meisiv Rava raises an objection for Mishnah in Chala, chapter 3:7. Okay. Asa Yisabin Chitin min Oires. Im Yesh Bem Tam Dogon. Chayes Bechalo. Yafal Gam Yu Oires. Concerning the inference that the halacha, right, so Rava raises an objection for Mishnah Chala. It says, in the case where one prepared a dough from wheat and from rice, if this mixture has the taste of wheat, it is obligated in the separation of challah, a portion of dough that must be given to a priest. See Numbers 15, 17 through 21. Challah is separated only from one of the 5 species of grain, not rice. Rava explains his objection, and his halakha applies even though the majority of the mixture is flour of rice. Apparently, the fact that the wheat imparts flavor to the dough renders it obligated in challah, even if the wheat is the minority. Okay? The Gemara answers, the obligation to set aside challah in this case applies by rabbinic law, not by Torah law. Rava raises a difficulty. If so, say the latter clause of the same Mishnah, a person can fulfill his obligation with matzah. He can. He can fulfill his obligation with matzah from this type of dough on the first night of Passover, since by Torah law this mitzvah must be fulfilled with matzah made from a grain. Evidently, the principle that one substance that imparts flavor to a greater amount of a different substance affects its status applies by Torah law. To be continued on 78b. Yeah, we'll continue next stuff.